corruption left, right, and center. I just saw one of the very renowned lawyers in our country celebrating that he managed to help Waluke. This is Otiende Amolo. He managed to help Waluke get acquitted, and he's celebrating. His law firm did that. I mean, so sad. It is sad. But what can we do? We, the people, have power to change most of these things. The power of the people can be felt if we want this power to be felt. That is something I need to tell you for free. Our power can be felt. If we want to stop this KETRACO thing, it can be stopped. If you want to stop Adani, it can be stopped. If you want to know how we need to exercise our powers directly, there's a space tomorrow for that at 8 p.m. Join so that we see how we can exercise our powers directly. Thank you very much, Pipita.
Asante, Real Joe. That was quite a sensational and a powerful submission. Thank you so much for that. And I like the fact that today watu wanafungwa hapa hivi mic wako wana spit. You know what I'm saying, guys? Spitting. Heavy. Western Shilaho, you're back. You want to rebuttal to Eli?
Yes, Peter, before I dash somewhere, basically what I'm saying is that we shouldn't allow these people to dazzle us with the big, huge figures of money. We don't see that money. So what are you talking about? We should insist that these people do good things, quality things, enduring things in small packages. Peter, if you can't build a single school from scratch, in 5 years, you are in power. You can't tell me that you'll do so much in 30 years. What is that you're going to do? And people have done so much in 5 years. People have done so much in 4 years. So these guys, when they tell us that they need 30 years, I don't know, I mean, but 5 years, cumulatively, will translate into 30 years. So you said, you as a government, that these things we can do in 30 years. We will build from scratch, let's say, within this financial year, from scratch. You're not going to repair schools from scratch. There was no school here. We'll build a school from scratch, from foundation. You said to yourself, we'll build how many schools? We're going to do 30 schools. You can do it. There's a lot of money. The other financial year, you do 30 schools. 30 schools. How many schools would you have done in 5 years? And if you are given 10 years, how many schools would you have done? You're going to build hospitals from scratch. You set yourself a number of hospitals. You do it. You're going to ensure that you graduate this number of students from university. You do it. You're going to grow your economy by this particular percentage point. You do it, because that will translate into jobs. Then you're not going to lie. You see, within this financial year, we created 100,000 jobs. You're not going to lie. There are people who can come forward and say, last year I didn't have a job. This year I've got a job. And it's a decent job. There are people who will come. You will do it. These guys here, they lie all the time. Oh, we created jobs, and no one can come forward and say they got a job. They don't do basic things. They never build any school. They never build any hospital. They're always preoccupied with electricity and roads. Electricity and roads. And no one even sees what these guys do, because that's where they mint money. Electricity and roads. Can you tell me how you can be a monopoly, Kenya Power, and you're ever loss making? You're a monopoly. No one else supplies power. No one else is in that business. You only. But you don't make any money. Why? So you think you bring a Danny on board who's going to make money? Pipita's Island. Our problem is that we bought into this free market ideology. By you and me, I'm talking about these guys, these political leaders of ours. Pipita, as I keep saying, in a country that is poverty-stricken as ours, in a country that is reeling under economic inequalities like ours, in a country where people are sick and they can't afford medicine, people want to go to school they can't afford, and if they go to school, they get bad education. Pipita, The government cannot afford to privatize things. Can't afford. Privatization in our country, in our society, Pipita, can only exacerbate our problems. Because there's something called state intervention. State intervention means that the state has to intervene in the economic activity. It's just not providing a conducive environment. It has to intervene deliberately to ensure that the forces of demand and supply do not hurt the most vulnerable people. Because in a free economy, Peter, if you don't have money, tough luck. You go to hospital there, you arrive there in the morning at 7, you are in excruciating pain, Peter. You lie on the floor there until late in the evening. You haven't seen anybody, nobody has seen you. That's a free market economy. They will tell you, you can go to a private hospital, but how many people can afford? You can go to a private hospital. That's what they will tell you. How many people can afford? Okay, public schools are not working, Pipita. Told teachers are demoralized, they're not paid, so kids go to public schools, they're wasting time. Pipita, if you don't have money, how can you take your child to a school that is equipped, has got facilities, qualified teachers who are in class and teaching? How can you take your child there? The state has to provide that education for you. And through that education, Pipita, those poor parents have got hope that tomorrow, after their kids complete school, the kids will break that vicious cycle of poverty. That state intervention. So these guys, when they tell us, no, they brought Adani, they brought poverty. Because those guys come to mint money. They come to make money. And you can make money even out of poor people. You can make money from dead people. You make money from sick people. You make money from rubbish. You make money from anything. That's how vicious capitalism is. They spare nothing. So they come in a poverty-stricken society such as ours, they go home with billions, and they leave us there, sinking deeper into poverty, dying of preventable diseases. So we should never celebrate this privatization thing, that these characters, they're apologists of privatization. And in effect, they're apologists of poverty. They're architects of poverty. They're architects of inequalities. That's exactly what they are. And they think, no, we can't do anything. What can you do? The state is set specifically to respond to the needs and aspirations of the majority of the people, to ensure that the benefits, spin-offs of development accrue to as many people as possible. But we have got an exclusive state, Pipita. It lives out there in the cold, to the elements, if you do not have what it takes. So what do people do? We loot money. If you loot money, man, you just loot money. You're going to avoid all this problem. Loot as much as you can. With that money, you can buy a lawyer, you can buy a judge, you can buy freedom. Those who can't loot, tough luck. This is a man-eat society. Pipita, we have to reset, rejig our society, not just in terms of the economy, fundamental as it is. Not just in terms of the rule of law, fundamental as it is, in terms of value system. This really, Joe, talking about Tendo Molo. You see, Pipita, if you were to wake up tomorrow and say, there must be a law. If you want to get into parliament as a lawyer, you will have to forego practicing law. Because you can't be in parliament, oversight, demanding that people who are engaged in corruption and what have you be held to account, and tomorrow you move from parliament, you go to court, and you're representing the very, very characters. That is not a conflict of interest. It's not. You are in the Senate. People come there. You ask them questions. Governors, they have stolen money, they have to account. Tomorrow, you were part of a committee that was asking questions to some governor who stole money. They see you tomorrow in a court of law representing that very, very governor. Pipita. How bereft of values can we be as a society? And then when you raise this thing, they tell you, you know what? A lawyer can represent anybody. They don't choose their clients. Goodness me. But there is a client here. The people of Kenya, the citizens of Kenya, whose money, whose future is being stolen from them. How can you defend people who are presiding over that theft, who are themselves stealing from Kenyans, stealing their future? You represent them and then you invoke the law that you are free to represent anybody, really? You want to become a member of parliament? You are a lawyer? For the duration you'll be in parliament, please, you are not going to appear in court to represent anybody. You won't. So you choose. You either practice law or you get into parliament and you serve public interest. You are not going to conflate your personal interest, making money out of embattled people, with the interest of the collective people of Kenya. You are not going to conflate that. Try to come up with such a law, Pipita. You will be harangued. You will be skinned alive. You'll be told how you're jealous of lawyers. Yeah, tell you how dare you say that? These people are free to represent anybody, and that does not interfere in any way in their work of oversight, of legislation, and what have you. Pipita, we have got a big problem as a society. Problem of values, problem of principles. I yield, Pipita. I dash somewhere. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Weston. Have a great weekend ahead, of course. We have less than 1.5 hours, actually, less than an hour to go. Hata mimi ni dash somewhere for the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. But I'll also be working over the weekend. Yeah, we'll be shooting some videos over the weekend. Me now Kingi 24/7. Yes. So, of course, if you like what you're doing, pale video kuna tip jaline, drop 0721948229. Leo nataka kulipia Uber. Yeah, kamera yetu ifike huko hivi kwenye studio ya kushoot. Anyway, I see the one and only Lison. How are you doing, Lison? Ni Lison ama Lison?
Well, both of the above. Thank you very much.
Okay, karibu.
Asante. Yeah, the theories of governments, the structures, the systems, the capitalistic systems of the world are rather very well known to the ruling class or the middle class. Unfortunately, the younger ages or the other majority may not understand. So it's good to have those lessons. But more importantly, I'd encourage those people who understand what's happening in the world, especially with the capitalistic structures, how draconian they are, the World Banks, the IMF, the Bretton Woods institutions, to be coming in these places and giving solutions rather than the long journey of history or theories, which is important, yes, for sure, but the way forward in our country now, with the Adani and everything, is a question of we must have an overhaul of the system. And this can only happen through the ballot, which again is another system that is very difficult to beat, given that it has been there. And one thing that people must understand is that politics abhors strangers. Politics itakagi strangers. So when you're a stranger in this game, they can gang up around. There's a famous thing that Reverend Joya used to say: a country is run by three most important pillars, or four more important pillars. The rich, if I can remember, there was a prophet, and then there was a system which is executive, and then the masses. So in most of the times, the three used to go against the prophet. So that's why the church is very important. Unfortunately, religion or churches or mosques have been taken over by the three, whereby the mass are part of the religion doctrinization that doesn't make them see. The prophets have become fake. The executive is playing all of them, and the rich are becoming more rich. So in Kenya, we're in that situation where those four pillars have not been separated. There's no separation. And the political class, which is the executive or the politicians, have now ganged up to be able to make sure that they continue with the confusion and the dominance. Going forward, we must make Mashujaa Day great by celebrating and saluting foreign heroes and making sure that we make a big show on that day, a parallel one from the Mashujas of independence, because independence was achieved, but our independence has been robbed away by the current regime and previous regimes. We have never had real Uhuru. So I call upon all comrades who really love these countries. We must remain tribeless, leaderless, and brave and fearless. Otherwise, we'll sit here, complain, we'll get all the academics and all the theories stated to us, but revolution is the only way. We are going to unlock our issues. Either revolution through the ballot or civil unrest. And I've no fear saying that. Even Mahatma Gandhi used all those means. We can only sit in the streets the whole day, naked or otherwise, cause civil disobedience and cause regimes to come down. In Mau Mau struggle, there are things that the Gen Z of that time, or the younger generation in the Mau Mau struggle, never, and I think we saw that thing trending the other day. Akina Bildad Kagia and others, Oneko and others, they never let Kenyatta know what they were doing. So if we have to be in that position where we have to use unconstitutional means to remove a government that does not respect the rule of law, then so be it. But to imagine that we can come in these spaces, and I love and I salute you, Peter, for creating this space. It's a good forum for us to dispense information to those who believe there's something wrong and those who have come here to listen and to give the government ideas on how to counter us. Tutakutana tu kwa ground. Even in Mau Mau time or in liberations, there are those who betray the cause and those who are for the cause. But the people will never be defeated, especially when through atrocities. Gaddafi was there. He ruled by the iron fist and he collapsed even when he had changed from being a dictator and preaching and presenting himself as Jesus. Saddam was there, Moi was there, and others have been there. So I dare say to this regime and to any other regime that they should learn from people like Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. All these amassing of wealth and collapsing of government institutions and structures for your own good, it's never an end of itself. It's just a roller coaster. You'll do it until we come for you, however long it takes. So I yield, but I want to salute everybody who has lost their life and who will continue to have the spirit. Let's not be waylaid. Let's not be excited by emerging leaders who may be coming here for personal gain or be maybe brought up in due course, because that will happen. And this is a long run, and it's going to be a long run, but eventually it will happen at the right time. Kudos to all.
Thank you for that. I'm just here to announce that Mbona Mimi kwa Uongozi is the topic for Tuesday next week, as Wednesday we are going to be sucked into the circus that is Rigathi. On Tuesday we are going to be talking about Mbona Mimi kwa Uongozi. This is a platform for you, the person that who wants, it is for you, the voter. Come tell me who you want to vote for what. Wewe kama an aspiring MCA, MP, women rep, come and talk to us. Nimeona mtu wetu having anasema kwamba anataka kuwa MCA. Come and talk to us. You see, so it's just easy like that. On Tuesday, najaribu kuonyeshaje. We need to also start opening fronts as well. We need to start opening fronts with which we are approaching all of this. It is 2 minutes past 8 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on our final hour of Home Run with PP this week. Oh my God. It's that fast already?
You are listening to Home Run with PP. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah. It's actually the last... It's actually the last hour of Home Run with PP this week, but we of course we have Home Run with PP Extra. Yes, on Saturday nights when I have the energy. Okay, but Home Run with PP comes to each and every weekday from 4 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. Next week is gonna be a pumped week, very very pumped, pumped, of course. we will be following up on to why we got into Adani at this moment, right after, in the middle of our deputy president being impeached. So I just was doing my quick calculations. I noticed that 104 billion on SHIF, 97 billion on KETRACO, that is 200. Of course, JKI, I value it at not less than 100 billion. So that is over 300 billion that these guys will be taking out. I don't understand. How is this mathematic? Mtu mwenye anaelewa kenye Adani wanafanya. Are we paying Adani 97 billion or are they paying us 97 billion? Mtu atuambie. Tunaweza kuwa tumekasirika, kumbe ni sisi tunalipwa all this time. Unaona? Yeah. So somebody had to explain it. But real John, what would you want us to talk about? What do you want to talk to us?
I wanted to say something about the conflict of interest, but umeuliza about the Adani, yeah? So
sure.
The 95 billion, Adani is supposed to invest that 95 billion into the power line. It is them who are investing the money. So yeah, it is them who are investing the 95 billion to the project. So pesa ni yao, but of course there is how they are supposed to get. Adani is a company that is profit making. So they've already calculated how they're going to make profit during the 30 years that they are going to be running they are going to be managing the power line. So that's something that we need to digress deeply into. But what I wanted to say so much is Western talked about public conflict of interest, and that it is interesting that he said that, and it is something that I was already discussing on the side with someone. You see, I was talking about Otiende Amolo, and I was actually telling someone just before I heard Western say that that's the reason I put my hand up. You see, the conflict of interest bill that these people passed themselves, the 2023, part 3 of that act talks about, and it talks about the conflict of interest itself. But I wished I was asking someone, a lawyer, to just digress this more. We were having an argument because, some of these laws that we have, it is just a matter of reading, and I would never be convinced that there is so much into law. It is a matter of reading and understanding. I'll tell you, this public of interest part 3, a public officer is in conflict of interest if the public officer, and I want to read just part B of that, of that, if the public officer is in a situation where the private interest of the public officer can reasonably be perceived to impair or influence the public officer's ability to act objectively in performance of an official duty. And this is where we were arguing, actually, because I felt the private interest here is Otiende Amolo's firm, law firm. Okay? The public interest here is Otiende Amolo being a member of parliament, should represent the interest of the people. And at this particular time, the people, the case is against, is on corruption, mismanagement of public funds. And therefore, this is a direct interest to the people, a matter that directly conflicts the people. So therefore, Otiende Amolo, by representing this Waluke privately through their firm, is directly in conflict of interest because he's supposed to also represent interest of the people in parliament. And that's the argument we've been having. This person who I was arguing is a lawyer and he's been unable to convince me up to now. He's been unable to convince me up to now that this is not conflict of interest. I'm glad Western brought it up, but people always only tag conflict of interest to financial matters. I wanted to boil it down to even these lawyers practicing privately. When they represent someone who is perceived to have committed corruption, that is mismanagement of public funds, then if they represent them, they are in conflict of interest because they're supposed to represent the interest of the people. And these people are the ones who are who have been subjected to this corruption. I don't know. I would wish to hear what other people also think, but that was my line of thinking. Thank you very much. I leave it at that. Peter, I'm done. I don't know whether I was being heard.
Yes, you are. Thank you so much. I was trying to unmute it. Nixon, I mean, I'm calling you. Nixon.
Thank you, Peter. I mean, what is called the real Joe. The real Joe is talking big facts about this thing. You know what? For this Waluke guy, this is somebody who's supposed to be in jail. Yeah, we can't mince these things because you know what? You can't go and get the whole. It was NCPB cash that was supposed to benefit farmers, and you get it all for yourself. And from that cash is what enabled him to be the MP. And the people in Sirisia are really enjoying that. This guy came to our home and it's like he brought money to us. He campaigned nicely and they voted him in. That's a fallacy. And then Otiende Omolo comes in with his law firm and is rejoicing that he's stood in for him and he's won the case. I look at Otiende Omolo and I think I've lost a lot of respect for this serious law guy in Kenya. And I even think like, what is the direction that the country is taking? If you have guys who need to take us in the right direction, that and they're doing such kind of a thing, I mean, I can say like yesterday, we are on our own. There's no country there. There's no country in Kenya. So I'm sorry to say, and to fix things in this country, we will need to overhaul. We need to overhaul everything. We need to overhaul our policies. We need to overhaul our laws. I mean, the country is sick. It's sick to the thick. So, I mean, we have nothing to rejoice as we are going on. What we have ahead of us is we have a lot of work to do to fix this country. Otherwise, as we continue the way we are, there's no way we are going, because we are going to have even new guys coming in, and they're going to continue the same trend. We don't need to have people coming into power and they come in to change things for their own benefit. We don't need to have the Adani thing for 30 years for KETRACO, and then we have another 30 years for our JKA, and then we have the same guy within Shah shifting, and Shah shifting thing changing the NHIF, which was perfectly working. We don't understand these things. Why should you change something that is working? Why? What is the reason? And we not come so clearly to Kenya to tell us, you know what, this system is like this, and we have this proposal, and this proposal puts forth these 1, 2, 3, 4 items that are working better than what we've been having. And then you ask Kenyans, you know, are you okay with this? Can we all shift to this other thing? We're not given time, we're not given avenues to discuss issues. We just find like Adani has come and Adani is taking KETRACO for 98 billion stuff. You know what? We don't care about that. What is 98 billion? This guy is providing 98 billion. What's 98 billion? There's nothing for free. He's going to provide 98 billion. But how much is he going to get from us in 30 years? You know, they're setting up conditions that even for them themselves who are in it right now, by the time 30 years elapses, they will be how many years old? Some of them will have already outlived their lives in their lifespan. So these guys are smart enough to create things that can keep them in their in all the time that they're going to be there. By the time this 30 years is finished, Ruto right now is 58 years. You add 30 years on 58, that is 88 years. Look at a guy who's 88 years. How will he be? I want to agree with somebody who said, you know what, like, we have to check in. Like, this president of ours must be sick mentally. We might be dealing with somebody who is sick mentally. We need to check this guy. We need to confirm that this guy is okay. You know, 30 years JKA, 30 years KETRACO, and the same guy in Shah. You know what? This one smells. This one stinks. So it's upon us to decide what, you know what, we cannot go this way, you cannot go on this way. We have to come up with a way, like this guy he has to be stopped. He has to be told, you know what, this is Kenya. It's not about you. It's not about your 30 years that you need to ride upon us with your cronies, you know what, enjoying from our sweat. You know, it can't work that way. This country is big. The cake that we have in a country is so big, and it can even feed everybody in the country. But we wonder, you know what, this guy has conned everybody, and is not even satisfied. If you go to Coast, if you go to Mombasa, you find out the hotel is building there. It's a humongous hotel in Shanzu, very big hotel. You go to Voi, he has a ranch, very big ranch. I don't know how many hectares. You go to Narok, the guy, I don't know how many hectares of land. He's even building a very nice house there. You go back to his home in Uasin Gishu, yeah. You go to a place, I don't know, there's a new place he found 2,000 acres land that has a river that's passing in between. He owns that land. Naiberi, that's the place that is I think the house is ready. Big house, yeah, palatial home. Then you go to Laikipia, again, hectares of land. I mean, is this guy okay? How much is enough? Do you want to own all that? Do you want to own that land of Kenya? That the whole of Kenya becomes your property. Now, if you own the whole of Kenya, how do you feel? I mean, I don't know how to express this. I think if you can be somebody who is who has limits, you can even get some few millions and develop yourself from it. But now you're in billions, you are now going to trillions, and you're not even, like, it's not ending for you. The story is so long. It's a shame. It's a very, very big shame. So it's upon us to have a way, like, we have to stop this guy. This guy is even worse than Moi. He learned the trick from Moi, and now he's perfecting it. It's perfect as we see. The other day he was claiming like he's a guy who's after Kibaki, but actually he can't even merit anything to what Kibaki did. There's no way he can merit that. He cannot measure to what Kibaki did. So as a country, I think we made a very big mistake. So we have a very big task to correct this thing. I don't know how we're going to do it. The house is already corrupted. Our arms of government are corrupted. It's already taken everything. Somebody talked the other day, like, there's a plan to increase his tenure to like 7 years. It sounds like it's a side story, but as we are watching, let's not be surprised. This thing can go through parliament very easily. And when the guy has 7 years, another 7 years added on top of the 14 years, or even more to that. Where are we going to go with this? Those are years. These are years that we are losing. We're losing a lot. Even think like the time that we had Uhuru Kenyatta with the SGR thing, and he did his stuff to 2019, and then from 2019 up to now, not even an inch of that rail has been increased. and the guy is there, not even talking about even, at least even SGR or even like Vision 2030, the lab. Not even talking about that. Not even talking about anything that's going to steer us in the next few years, as in we expect to be somewhere. He has no idea. That one he has no
I
idea.
want also to move to the new two speakers have joined us, Nixon, so maybe you could land.
Okay, fine. It's okay.
Okay, listen, before I bring in Redemptor, listen, what do you want to say?
Okay, I think I've landed at that point because I think you've decided to bring more speakers. It's okay, you can take that.
Thanks, Pepita. We are. I just want to do a quick rejoinder to refresh many guys who may not be understanding this area of Adani's interest and energy. Number one, the minister who signed this deal or who crafted this deal is a hacker called Chirchir, Davis Chirchir, who was in energy before, and he left there because of corruption. And he knows the sweetness of energy, and is a key ministry. Now he's gone to transport to also continue the crafting of another deal by Adani of taking our airport. As if that is not painful enough, I'll tell you in 2015, there was an line that was built by a company called Siemens Energy, which is a German company, and Isolax. It was supposed to evacuate power from River Omo, the biggest dam that Ethiopia was constructing, I think about 400 kV, to Suswa, a distance of 1,000 kilometers. And that project had many substations, and it was even direct current transmission. There was another project called Loyangalani by the same two companies, Isolax. These projects were looted by the former MD of KETRACO, who is now Fernandes Baraza, who is the current governor of Kakamega, and he got so much money. And that's why he's an ODM, UDA friendly governor, because that money was looted together with Ruto in that regime of first term of Uhuru. And remember that project of 1,000 kilometers was costing us 25 billion Kenya shillings. In power transmission, usually there's not much maintenance. So you don't need to give long-term maintenance of 30 years. There's literally no maintenance of wires in 30 years because cables will take ordinarily more than 50 years or 60 years on board. So these are real scam, a basic scam. Part of this construction that they are saying is from Thika to Konza by Adani, a distance of 200 or something kilometers. Compare that with the Ethiopian, which costed 25 billion. Now this one is costing 90 billion, 100 billion, and we are giving out our line and our heritage and a strategic energy infrastructure to a foreign entity. This is one of the biggest scams this country has ever witnessed. I want to land there, and I'll send you PP some small. I have the full dossier of these scams. If you wish, you can be able to share upon you. But you guys dig. The writing is on the wall. This is a scam. Kenya is on the blink. We are on our own. We must start afresh. We need a reset in this country.
Redemptor, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Karibu sana.
It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Siku nyingi sana, siku nyingi. Miaka na mikaka.
Nilikuwa nimezunguka nisikie hewa ya Kenya inasema nini. The real Joe knows I'm about to choma. I've been waiting to choma and I didn't know where to choma. Leo wacha nichomee hapa kwako leo. Because I realize Kenyans need to be told the truth, and it's very hard truth. We are talking about Adani takeover, KETRACO 30 years. Real Joe has told us the problem of Kenya is leadership. Oh, these are the things the young people in this country are so smart. They have figured it out. They know wizi inatoka wapi. They know conflict of interest. The most shocking thing for me the last 3-4 weeks has been that Wamushoba, Honorable, told us we deserve the laws that we get because we did not say anything when they changed the laws on PPPs. And I knew we are in a bad place. I think Kenya is in a place where everything has to go so bad before it can be well. I have hope that this country can be saved, but I have lost hope in the young people. Tulikuja hapa Pipita tukabembelezana tupate tu space ya kuongea, tukajaribu tukawabembeleza, tukawa encourage, tukawapatia motivation. Wazazi was the problem. To be honest, the young people of this country are behaving worse than wazazi wetu. And this is why. Leadership. What is the quality of a leader? Kenyans deserve the leaders they get because if someone comes to them and says, look, I have never stolen, they don't even look the direction. Nimekuwa attacked when I said bado tuko kwa civic education. The why Ruto must go was the most urgent because haikuwa imefikia kila mtu. So I don't want to say much. I just want to say that someone has asked how much is enough. And President Ruto aliuliza hiyo swali. It has now become a very philosophical question with a very complicated answer. When he was asked how much is enough, he said enough is enough. Someone comes and says, okay, I've figured this out. I'm going to show you all the corruption in this country. Before we reach civic education so that mashinani, 47 counties, we know this is the problem. If I ask my mother about Vampire Diaries, she has no idea what that is. So we had not even reached mashinani to tell people tunaibiwa. Nobody does not know tunaibiwa. Nobody does not know about these deals. It's being in Kenya right now, and I finished by saying there's hope, but the hope is in the wrong people. Kenyans like to be dazzled. Kenyans don't like leaders who are dull. They like people with charisma. They like people who can speak a lot of English. If you come with your shrubs here speaking broken English, it doesn't matter if your integrity is like that one of Justice Maraga. They will not listen to you. They want someone who will dazzle them. They want people with followers. We get the leaders we deserve, and this country is in a mess. I thought we had an opportunity. Young people in this country died. They believed in they believed in the Constitution. They believed and they showed us, hapa ndio tunaibiwa, hapa ndio inaenda. And what did you do when you regrouped? Young people, today I'm addressing any young people. So that also address the people who decided to entrust saving this country to individuals, not ideology. Can we redeem ourselves? Can we go back? We are here on X, but people have now gone into their own rabbit holes, Telegram here, others on TikTok, and everybody's following their own leader. And they are following that leader because there's something they've been told, this is what I bring on the table. The Christians who believe the president was born again, hata hawajatubu, they are also regrouping someone, now they'll come back and say, this one, if someone comes and says, praise the Lord, they'll say this one is the one. So, I've been attacked because I've said we are not ready for political parties. We have enough political parties. I've counted the people with presidential interests. So if our problem is leadership, hizi shida zingine mzote mnasema because the leaders who have been in power for the last 20 years, they protect each other. Because we will find out where SGR went. People know very well where the money went. They know SGR haistilienda wapi. When Wanjigi comes and says the odious debt, nobody has ever told him he's lying about odious debt. So what are they going to do? I will see young people rallying out behind someone who has not been tested, who we do not know if they have integrity, as long as they have charisma, as long as they speak good English. Mimi nimerushiwa mawe sana because of saying we need to be united. We are not. And I said, I know my age mates. They are here listening to you in spaces, wanawasoma, and they have figured you out. And for the people who are outside Kenya with very good intentions of saving this country, there's not just one courageous person in this country. Bob Jagi has just come from being tortured for 32 days. I've seen a man cry. But somebody else is arrested for 1 day and people come to a space and cry. And they cry. Redemptor, you do not retreat. And they cry. Honestly, our priorities are on people. We are looking for a savior. Anybody here on this world can save this country if they remain truthful. Let's not be dazzled by because tumesomwa, tumemalizwa. Maybe it is the Gen Alpha will save this country. Maybe we'll suffer for the next 20 years because hatutaki kuongea. We like the people who come and use bad words. We like people on Twitter who insult everyone. They call this one names. Those are the ones we like. So I've come to the conclusion, we get the leaders we deserve. But I still have hope. I still have hope that it is in the languages that we are going to use. Someone like Omtata is here. Nimeona huko diaspora wamefanya michango. I've never seen any mchango done for a man hata alingolewa meno akijaribu kutetea nchi. So maybe we can start talking some sense to Kenyans. Every voter, everyone who is here, who goes saizi, who goes where the numbers are. We follow numbers. And to finish, leo nilikuwa nataka kuongea mbaya, lakini to finish, this is what I have to say. When a teacher gives people group work, they go around the classroom looking at the groups. What is that group doing? And that's what is happening. And our groups have been tested and we are all about ours. I came here and I said the new tribalism is Gen Zs and millennial. And they've decided, and the first fallacy that was there was the older generation have never done anything to defend this country. The older generation tried their part. Sasa nyinyi, we were there. The silent majority were supporting the young people. The young people said we were the problem until they tasted power. Kidogo. Just power kidogo to your followers. What did they do with that power? So I've kept saying integrity is not in age groups. It is not in tribes. Integrity is in people. And that is what we have to work on. Real juu hata tukianza kusema foundation, broken foundations, sijui wapi, we sanitize Uhuru Kenyatta. Even now when people talk about Uhuru Kenyatta, they talk about him as if he's an angel. They know about SGR. They know about Odia's debt. We now are sanitizing Kashagwa. Oh, we have to feel sorry for him. And when you listen to the groupings that are happening, if you put your ears on the ground, shida, my last word is amwambiliki young people. Mimi niliwabembeleza sasa, I'm just going to be doing tough love. Munifunge kwa grupu nikuje mzime mic. There's hope for this country, but it's going to be in personality, it's going to be on ideology, it's going to be on values. So kwenda kutukana watu, drop F-bombs, waizi, ni waizi, it's not going to save this country. There is hope in this, that people can read authenticity. And I hope, and that's what I'm banking on, that people will be able to listen. I keep saying, when people are speaking, do not just listen to what they are saying. Listen to what they are not saying. So people now, they've come to words now, now we are being persecuted. The Kikuyus fought for Mau Mau, and you don't know how much we fought. No, that is history. We use the history to learn from our mistakes. I thought we were having a 2002 moment, but I feel like we have a 1992 moment where every leader will decide, I want to be president. Can we salvage it? I don't know. Adani deals, all these deals they're making, they can be reversed when we get a real leader. And Kenya generates enough money from taxes for us to start over, because Gachagua came and told us they found empty coffers. He told us that people carried money with wheelbarrows. They never arrested the people who stole from us. So what does that tell you? That in leadership in the right hands, every child would go to school for free. The MPs, I'll finish by saying this, the MPs are on self-preservation mode. That is why they are passing bills with their interests. That is why they are getting 500K to vote this way, that way. Lazima tuungane. And ndio mjue na I'm young at heart, kuna group inaitwa Wakardinali. And they sang a song a few years ago, said, kuna siku vijana wataungana. Are we there yet? Asanteni.
Hey. Woo! Woo! Shots fired. Hey. hivi ndo walimu walikuwa wanajua lyrics, kumbe kina Redemptor. Oh my god, thank you so much Redemptor for that. Oh, unazimiwanga mic mahali hata binafaa nianze kasirika, nazima mic kama bunge, watu wanazimiwa mic, sembuse tu space hapa hivi. But thank you so much for that tough love. Some people just need to hear that. I've also been a victim of that, what you're talking about, Redemptor. Nimetukanwa mpaka hadi nikaambiwa ndio maana tunasema iende mbele. So there's so much hate also going on this place that I really don't understand. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Home Run. We are at 33 minutes past 8. How are you doing justice for all?
I am doing
Karibu
well,
sana.
and I appreciate Asante Sana, and thank you very much. I'll kind of speak on two issues that I feel. And Redemptor, thank you very much for that presentation, and also thank you for hosting my my brother RK for the speech that you had, which was good. My RK's driver while is my. Oh, did we lose the connection?
Yeah, I can hear you. Redemptor is in the listeners.
Oh, okay. So our case, I hosted in the Pipita, you know, RK. We've hosted him last week, and my family's been the driver for his travels here, and I love that. I want to say two things that are critical. Is that, again, we all know these challenges that we are dealing with, but I want money to flow in the right places. The likes of Pipita's way of civic education and giving us a platform to do this, the Mizanis of this world, is something that we do not want to be compromised. So for me, I'm not making a submission about Ruto needs to go need that. I'm not doing that. I'll do that in another forum. What I'm asking is that when you have PP in the house talking about tip jar, we need to get to a point where PP's platform would even have the lawyers and other people that can take these cases to court, support, and do the work that we are doing in a more broad way of simply moving from the way of putting the lights and having the internet on for us to have a space. We need now to start thinking that how then do we make this as a movement that helps? And I'm willing to about that. My other friends of Mizani, they do the same movement. Redemptor, I don't know if RK told you that I'm the one who's going to be registering his foundation in Ohio. Why am I sharing this? Is because we have to get to a point of now moving beyond talking to doing. And doing needs resources. And resources does not have to be, you don't have to be a millionaire or a billionaire to do anything. We need a little bit of what you can afford. Hata kama ni shilingi 10, 20, 50, 100, or whatever it is. And I'm speaking to this because I understand that we have to hit this thing from air, land, and sea, meaning like everywhere it has to happen. So when you see, people asking for whatever, do like a tip jar and everything, can we graduate that from simply a tip jar to a real movement of having when people will be targeted, who are the lawyers that would defend him? Where is that funding coming from? Okay, So that's one. I know you guys are angry at me because hata mimi nikuwa mchungaji nikianza kuomba pesa kwa kanisa wakati wa sadaka kila mtu anakasirika. So before you do that, so let me do the second point, PP, if you don't mind. My second point is whatever is happening with Adani and all that, and I think you guys paid attention to the Bloomberg classification of the 2030, how the billionaires are transitioning. The bigger question about Adani is not about your economic takeover. It's about our national security. So even as you think through who we are giving these assets to, ask yourself, how does that compromise the national security of your nation? So this thing is bigger than money, is bigger than who is corrupt. So even as you think about, corrupt people, wamepata deal, they are gotten something, they are getting to this, please think about your national security. When you have someone else running your airport, your ports of entry and everything, and running your grid, calling the inaitwaje kitu ya umeme,
Power
whatever it is.
lines, man. Major
When that
power
happens,
lines.
please, if they poison that thing, you're in bad shape. So even as you think about corruption as the only focus of why we need to oppose Adani, think about national security. How is that for you and me? Dr. Otiso, a friend of mine from Bowling Green, did ask why were even the Kenyan immigrants or Kenyan diaspora were not given a chance to invest in this, because they had a movement which they have this thing. Why were they not given a chance to invest in this platform? It's a mix, it's a mess, it's a thing that you have to be skeptical, and someone has to come out and tell us. So national security is my concern beyond economic corruption and everything. So I would say this: fund these movements, fund the PP's movement, fund the Mizani's movement, work with the people that are going to make a difference. But number two, be worried about your national security. Thanks, I called PP my kid bro. Thanks for the work, and this has to continue, but we have to speak truth to power. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Justice for All. But the Justice for All has been very supportive hapa hivi kwenye home run pia, so big up man. Naona naniitwaje Paul the Faster kwa hapa hajatuongelesha even once. How are you doing brother? Wiki ingeisha hujatuongelesha.
Yes, I'm fine. Majukumu inanileta ambio hadi sipatangi time ya kuingia
ni bibi na watoto.
Vitu kama hizo zinanileta ambio hadi
Tulikutuma. Siwende uliamua.
Si mimi ndio niliamua, lazima ni
Talk to us brother.
Okay. I'm fine. Actually, leo nimepata nafasi ya kuingia huku, nimewamiss. I have heard them that saying that mnazimanga mic. Is that time pipita ulinizimia mic? You don't nimesahau. Okay, I'm fine. Tuko katika ikome nini disco hii country ya kuchekesha. As you can see, about the impeachment of Washawa, of course, the topic of the day is not about that, but allow me to talk about the impeachment of Washawa kidogo tu. So, if I can ask can say that the president Uju Ruto na Gachagua, actually they were not my choice during the election of 2022. Nikienda kupiga kura mimi sikuona candidate mzuri wa presidency. Nilienda kupiga tu venye watu wanaenda. Juu huko niliona tu was the matter of interest venye mtu ile kitu itamtoshelesha yeye mwenyewe. So when I see my two enemies fighting, the only thing I do ni kwenda kukaa side na kuanza kucheka. So mimi Gachagua na Ruto hata waanze kupigana daylight. Mimi hakuna kitu nitafanya. Ni kusonga hapo kando nianze kucheka. Sina time ya kuanza kujadili eti Gachagua nini na Ruto what. Don't have time. Let's be focused. We are youths of this country. Actually, we are the leaders of today. When others say that we are the leaders of tomorrow, wakataze waambie we are the leaders of today. So, watu wakipigana mimi sina haja na wao. Let's focus tuinue nchi yetu. About the topic of the day, about the Adani deals and KETRACO, Kenya tunauzwa. Kenya yetu, this not the Kenya. If the late Mwai Kibaki akiamuka saizi, actually Wakenya tutapiwa viboko ile mbaya. Juu Kenya wenyewe tunaendelea kujicolonize wenyewe. Tulifukuza those colonies and now we are calling them back. Tuko nomo kweli. So actually these MPs, instead of fighting for these things, they are fighting for Gachagua and zile vitu zinasiasi kusaidia. Watu, actually I don't know whether you are MPs, my fellow friends, you are MP from your area, alienda kupigia zile vitu kura ama alienda kunini? Kama huyo MP ana focus 2027 tafadhali tuangalie, tukienda kuchagua tuangalie. Even if my MP alivote no, that thing does not concern me. The only thing which concerns me, huyu mtu ajanifanyia maendeleo the way I want. So these MPs tuangalie next election, tuangalie tafadhali, tusiende kuchagua because we are just electing. Tuchague watu wenye watatusaidia maisha yetu. Actually, I heard somebody saying that if somebody Gen Z group akiamua kuvai for any vote, tumsupport. Usiangalie mzee mkubwa. Wewe unaenda kusupport mzee mkubwa yet you are forgetting your fellow Gen Z. Let us support ourselves. Tuinue hii Kenya, tutoe watu wenye wanatokoleza ya kina Ruto and others from this leadership to take over tafadhali. That's what I have for today. Nilikuwa nimewamiss sana, lakini next time pipita usipende kuzimia watu mic sana. Sawa?
Wewe shika hii kiboko. Unajua sasa shida yako ni unataka nikuambie nimekumiss bwana. Hiyo hatuwezi fanya kwa show. Sasa wewe bro. Well, thank you so much for your submission. Mimi naye kama unaongea vitu zenye zina sound sijui aje, nazima mic. Mimi ndio speaker hapa, mimi ndio commander. Umeona hapo ameandika. Unaona host wangapi kwenye hii show?
Oh, I can hear anybody. Is the space still on? Or did
Yeah, we are on. Ni kama Justice atuski guy. All right. Redemptor, I hope you can hear me.
I don't know why I went off.
Si hata mimi nilikuwa nafikiria tu ume-drop mic. I was like, okay, so what an exit. Anyway, kumbe ulikuwa okay. So talk to us. I think Justice for all ndo ni kama amepotea. Let him refresh and come back.
I think he's talking even. I mean, I can see his mic spiking.
No, amesha drop. Nimemdrop kwa sababu hakuwa anatusikia.
Sasa nimekuja na unyenyekevu. Nilikuwa nimekuja nikiwa fired up. You know, when people say, let's speak truth to power, you also want to ask, where is the power? There was a time in this country in the month of June and July where we, during the World War, people used to sit next to their radios, wasikie kama vita imeisha. And so at that time, the power was in the hands of the young people. Tuliwavumilia. My own children who wanted to go to the streets, hata tukakuwa maadui, because there's a day I'm saying, okay, today you can go, tomorrow you cannot go. Sasa, the power they felt, because they felt the power. Zile ma-F-bombs zilikuwa zinadropiwa huku. Utaki kujua, kwanza ukiona mtu mwingine, get the what out of here. The reason why I agreed to put up with it is because one, innocent blood was shed. And these people had every right to rage on for days. And to be honest, a lot of the people who genuinely came out in the streets, they retreated because they were so injured. They still had a fighting spirit in them, but they retreated. And I've been looking for people who are in the streets to find out how they are doing. Sasa tukabaki wale, Kikuyu wanaitanga jaba. Jaba zikabaki, they had a voice. The kina real Joe hapa. Now, the power now again shifted to the people who are shaping the conversation. I don't know where the conversation started going south, because now the infightings began. The supremacy battles of powers, who can pull a crowd of 100,000 people. And I feel like we need to heal from that and even ask Pipita, what are you about? Eli Lukiani, what are you about? So that I know when I listen to you, are you shaping people? In fact, there's someone I asked, I've been listening to what is going on in your space. Are you actually inciting people and creating this scenario that there's an enmity between tribes? And did young people in this country die so that we can go back to those tribal lines? So for me, it's just to say that there's a lot of responsibility on people who have a gift to hold conversations. There's also a level of responsibility for when we choose to support a cause or a person. But where we seem to be dropping the ball is very quickly we are beginning to associate with the very people who put us in this place. And we will, because we need to hear their point of view. But behind the scenes, someone was asking me today, M-Pesa yangu ikatetemeshwa na mita tano, how I would react. I think if that happens, I should pull out of conversations because I will be betraying all the young people who have died. So the level of responsibility for anybody who is in a leadership position is not to come and talk to us as if we are children. Because truth be told, I have one vote. Pipita has one vote. Joe has one vote. Everybody has one vote. And at the end of the day, if you're a leader, you will want that vote of mine. So the votes are there. Let's not people be observing us and finding hata hakuna kitu inaendelea. Because the danger of that is then people died in vain. I refuse to believe those innocent, courageous souls died in vain, so that we can start defending thieves, so that we can start defending. Ati ni mwizi yangu, I'm seeing it from a frontliner. When you shake hands with these people, just even shaking hand, I'm telling you the transfer that happens there. And I don't want to be spiritual, but the transfer is that this person is saying the only way I can remain in power is if I associate with the young people. So the power is in the hands of the young people. And that's why we now have to start speaking truth to power. We've been speaking truth to power to government for a long time. Now it is to the young people. Mkienda kombo tutawaambia hapa hakuna hope. If you keep in this direction, it's going to be the same old. And we are in a bad place as a country. All these deals have happened because of our leaders. And let's not move from the hands of one oppressor and then we land in the hands of another. And Pipita, I started in your space. Things happen, the wars that happen. Ukitajwa tu, that's what I'm saying. When we follow, it takes just one SMS, one post. Unaitwa mall and all your activism, all the work you've done, it has happened last week. And KOT Sonko was struggling, writing long posts to explain himself. So that if you have power to influence Kenyans, do not use that power to destroy. We know there are things that should not be discussed openly. Even now, right now, what is going on is a shame because people give their money people gave their hope in individuals. Early, you have a responsibility. If people keep coming to you to listen to you, do not bring toxicity, do not bring distraction. Your stage to tulipita pale when people were really angry and they were hurting. Now, the few will be left standing will have to rebuild. Because honestly, like Joe said, we don't even have something that is destroyed. We have to start building from scratch. It's a shame that some of the laws will be passed. They will be passed. You can be sure it is painful to imagine, but they will be passed. Because if the private partnership initiative was passed and these people came and boasted to us that they passed it, I appreciate all the lawyers and all the activists who are out there working. I celebrate them. But the ones who are in the front line, there's a lot of work that needs to be done because there's a lot of misleading impressions because they say politics is a game of perception. And some of these people have started behaving like politicians. What we need is leaders. Currently, all we have are dealers. They are making deals. I believe, I have faith that these deals will be annulled. They will be cancelled. We will lose money, but they will be cancelled because if we trust these people or anybody associated with them to oversight themselves, it will never happen. So kama kuna mtu ameumia na maneno yangu, that was the intention. Asanteni.
Wow. What? Okay. Anyway, for me, I believe if you believed in someone, I only believe in God because I have not seen him. Yeah. The humans I've believed in, all of them have found a way of disappointing me. Yeah. So I don't believe in people. You have to show us exactly your real face in real time. Ndo tujue wewe ni ukweli, because as you've said, watu wamekuwa dealers, watu wamekuwa wheeler dealers, straight from our politicians. Yeah. So thank you, Redemptor. Today I'm glad you're back for show. Yeah. Hapa wacha tujisemee kwenye hapa kwenye show kwamba somebody came to my inbox and said, you know what, guys, there are people who are trying to shift the conversation. They want us to have leaders. So I think that was about the time the leaders started cropping up. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So they were like, I have noticed Anthony and Redemptor are walitumia jina gani? Mold. Walisema mold. Yeah. I was like, the reason why Redemptor I did not ask you is because I did not believe it. If I felt it was serious, believe you me, you'd never come back to this show. I would never talk to you again. In fact, I would not even talk about it. The reason why I posted
Don't talk about it. That is what. That's water under the bridge. Don't even go there.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to say something. You see, what I was trying to talk about that day is we are being very stupid at this very moment. Because when you look at it, when I posted that video, I posted that is exactly what we have ended up doing to everybody else. Huyu amelipwa, yule amelipwa, huyu amelipwa, yule. Everybody got demoralized, kila mtu akarudi kutweet. Now we are tweeting about football and signings. Anyway, the real Joe.
Peter, one
Yes.
thing that I wish we learn as young people, because it's not that I'm old as well, but one thing I wish we learn as young people is how to consume information responsibly. Also on these timelines, on these TLs and things like that. I feel like some people see just information and react immediately to this information without having to consume that information responsibly. By this, I mean, you get the information, digress, try to understand, do your research, fact find before you react. I think that is also one of the things that has really caused divisions on these timelines, because, I mean, when people started branding each other, traitor, what, this, sellouts, things like that, that was also one of the things that we lost. That's where also we got it wrong. But having said that, it is also important because from conversations that we've been having in these spaces, you can be able to see consistency in people. You could easily just tell how consistent people are when they make their submissions in these spaces. You can easily tell. So I've learned to associate myself only with people who are consistent. I mean, at this particular point in time, we are different in terms of conversation the way we were initially when we were starting the movement. I mean, people only wanted to hear the yelling beat, the ranting beat, and things like that. We've matured into conversations and issues. So at this point in time, I would only associate myself with people who are discussing issues rather than people who are discussing problems and just populist ideas and things like that. That is also where we need to draw the line as young people. Moving forward, let's just organize well, but organized based on issues. And someone texted me the other time when I said I will never subscribe to an ideology of a party, and I want this party to come and bring change into my country. A party with the name Inject Party. I mean, any day. And I've been invited to one space right now. I'm going to go there to just bring world war. I've said here, but I will never subscribe to that kind of ideology. I want to see innovation. I want to see the kind of thinking that can bring solutions, not cause problems. This ideology, I equated it to wheelbarrow movement. I mean, we used to say inject, inject, inject. We use that as symbolism. It should not be taken then as a party name or something like that. I mean, that hakuna creativity hapo hata kidogo. Hakuna ati inject party leader. I mean, kuna vitu vingine mmefanya, nawaombea kabisa, nawaombea.
Nawaombea waandishi wa habari, wauombeni popote na muda ukweli. You know that song that song by Munishi it stays in my head for long because there was a time tragedy befell our family so much that that song was played in so many funerals. I had to listen to it. But yeah, I get your point, Real Joe. Umesema watu wache kusema inject. Wacha nifinye jingle nitoke hapa wasije wakanikujia. Not feelings nyinyi.
You are listening to Home Run with Pipi. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah, mimi nilishuka hiyo train ya Mahasira Redemptor. As you know, for me, jana kulikuwa na babu here. Mababu wanasikiza hii show. Mtu kama, acha nisimseme jina hapa hivi, anakuanga na miaka 60. So ako hapa, alafu mnataka kila siku tuongelee matusi. We lose people, you know. And that is how I think we even lost the concentration and the attention span of the elders. People refused to stop being angry and focus. Ni kila tukakua, you know, pale ushago kwetu kulikuwa na umbwa zinakutana. Sikuwa jua nini inaendelea ile time, but zilikuwa zinaumana. Unaona, at the end of it all, nyingi zilikuwa zinaenda home, alafu kuna moja ndo inabaki. So basically, even ndo tulikuwa wengi tukaumana. And then, now look at us. But we are not all lost if you look well, guys. You always regroup, readjust, and refocus. So tusikufe moyo. Namuona pale hivi, watu wangu wameingia kwenye mic chuchu. Hiyo jina yako ni mbaya.
You are listening to Home Run with Pipi. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Kuna mtu ameona hapa hivi ninaenda nyumbani na zero bobu kwa tip ja siku hii leo akasema no. Henry, thank you so much for your tip. Wewe.
Vipi?
Poa sana chuchu. Niwacha kwa nipige shout out mtu mwenye ametuwekea kitu kwa tip ja leo. Unajua wadhamini ni nyinyi. Asante sana Henry for your tip. Your support is always appreciated. Wale ambao mnaona hii show yetu venye inaendelea, always ingia pale ndani kwenye tip line 0721948229 and support. Of course nikionanga Justice for All anasemanga if you tip 300 he adds 300. Sasa kama sahi huyo 200 najua niko na 400. Hebu changamkeni pale ndani. Chuchu.
Vipi?
Poa sana.
Sasa mambo.
Mimi niko tu kumaliza weekend.
Changia mjadala, nitatoka nje kidogo ya mjadala. Nafikiri nimezungumza mambo ya advice watu, mambo ya hapa kuna watu ambaye age yao hawataki kusikia vitu ya matusi nini. Kuna nilikuwa nikiingia kwa hizi space. Unasikia matusi ile iko kwa space, hata mwenye ana host unashindwa mtu ni mlevi, amevuta bangi. Sometimes kuna words zingine hata uwezi toa kwa mdomo yako. So tukiingia hapa
bangi inakuwa na matusi. Okay, pole, endelea.
So hapa ni kama parliament. Ukiingia parliament wewe zungumza maneno una matusi nini, unatakiwa uwe na discipline na ile wisdom. So that watu wasitoroke kwa space. Kuchangia kitu ambayo iko mambo ambayo iko na discipline. Hata kama uko na hasira, hapana toa matusi. Wewe zungumza tu hasira yako, zungumze iishe. So mimi pipi nilitaka niangalie jinsi ya vile tunaweza kupromote wewe. Naona kuna jina hapo home run with pipi. Hii maoni yangu tu. Si utafute design ya t-shirt, print, weka logo, alafu tupe ni pesa ngapi, sisi tukutumie pesa, uprint hizo t-shirt, utulete, ututumie mahali tuiko, tutalipa whoever anasikia anaweza, alafu tukupromote na njia hiyo. Hata nikipata t-shirt, hata niambie hii t-shirt ni 1500 na ni mara moja, ninunue hiyo t-shirt, nunulie maybe rafiki yangu. Hiyo ndio njia tunaweza kupromote wewe, na tutafute njia ile tunaweza kupromote hii space yako. Because nimeona space yako si ati naisifu zaidi, lakini ni space ambayo nimeona at least iko na discipline kidogo. Watu wamekuwa na discipline, uko na wisdom, the way unaendesha watu. Ni space ambayo hata ukiingia, ukisikiza ukuwa nyumbani umekaa with your family, hauwezi kuaibika. Ni kama music, ukicheza music mbaya kwa studio na uko na familia yako, watoto yako wako hapo, wanasikia music ile zinachezwa, inabidi hata uamke utoke kama uzime hiyo station. But the way unaendesha hii space, mimi nafurahi. Otherwise pipi, hiyo ni maoni yangu. Kama inawezekana utuambie inawezekana, uprint, utafute design mzuri. Kama ni polo t-shirt, utafute design mzuri, print moja, utuweke tuione. Tukishaiona tuseme hiyo ni sawa, tuweke tiki, tukutumie pesa. Whoever anataka anatuma pesa, tutengeneze t-shirt, tupromote hii space. Tuachane na mambo mingi. Whoever wale wanaenda wanakula pesa watu, wanafanya vile wanafanya. Siasa usiingie tu kwa sababu umeingia. Unaweza kuwa wewe ni mzuri, wewe ni msomi, unataka ingia siasa, but watch out. Matamshi yako inaweza kukuland kwa problem, inaweza kukufanya hata ile fame ulikuwa umepata ibadilike, ipunguke. Because tunasikiza tu, hata kama umefanya nini tunaona vile nyinyi vijana mnaendelea, vile mnafanya. At the end of the day utakuja kuanguka na usiblame mtu. Otherwise pipi, endelea na vile unaendelea, tutaendelea kupromote. Mimi sijawahi sikia unatusi mtu, sijawahi sikia unaongea vibaya, sijawahi sikia umenikatia hata mimi mic. Watu wanakuja, watu wana run, mtu anakaa hata 30 minutes naongea Kiingereza yake yote mpaka vocabularies zinaisha. 30 minutes mimi naangaliaga na time, naongea 30 minutes, anatoka kwa space anaenda na umuulizi. Wacha mtu akuja hapa atoe hasira zake, alsas zake zishuke, afurahi, atoke aende, kesho atarudi. Lakini tu promote hii space pipi, hiyo ni maoni yangu. wengine kama wanaweza support
Hapo
kwa hiyo,
asante.
kama wanaweza kwa hiyo maoni wa support Beland.
Unajua kitu moja mimi nasemanga, siwezi kataza mtu kuongea kwa sababu huwezi jua mtu amekuwa na siku ya aina gani ama usiku wa aina gani, na
Yes.
you could be the last person he wants to talk to, na wamekosa mtu mwingine kuongelesha. Unaona,
It is true. Mtu akija na hasira zake, wacha atoe maneno yake yote amalize.
Yeah, so long as you keep it respectful, mimi sina shida.
There was a time nilikuwa sijui ilikuwa space gani. Then Kalonzo akatokea kwa hiyo space. Halafu mtu akasema, "We Kalonzo, ngoja kwanza, wacha tuchukue." There was a lady sijui alikuwa ngambo. Akasema, "Hata ninaona Kalonzo hapo na kichwa yake hiyo kubwa. Nimejua that's why aliitwa watermelon." Hivyo ndio vile Kalonzo alidisappear kwa hiyo space na akaenda akiendaga. You know, wacha tukue watu.
Tulifukuza politicians wote hapa, walikuja kutusikiza, walitukana wote.
But sometimes unaona, wacha wakuja atoe hata ujinga hao, waongea ile kitu ataongea. Sometimes unanyamaza tu, alafu wewe weka word mzito. Usitukane. Weka tu word zile za kuambia, nyinyi mmeshazeeka, ile kiwango umefika, kaeni kando. Kama ni advice, mtupe mkiwa huko pembeni. Lakini msikuja hapa kukaa kwa hii space mkifikiria sasa ndio mtapata mileage.
Kuna mtu alikuja hapa hivi akatuambia achana na visungu mingi, alafu mwingine akakuja akaniambia aje eti wanaitwa aje huyo, wanasema tuacheni na visungu mingi bwana. We Chuchu, wacha nisikize hawa watu wanne because I'm already over my time. Unataka kunipeleka over time Friday na huko hivi huko hivi ndio the weekend mrefu ndio hii inaanza. Nyinyi mko na long weekend from Friday, from Thursday. Anyway, thank you Chuchu. Diamonds. Sijui kama can you guys hear me? Justice for all can hear me? Justice for all can hear me? Confirm if you can hear me, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I can hear you very well. I don't know why other people are not hearing you. I can hear you. Pipito, I can hear you.
I think I have been swamped. I think I've been swamped. Wacha niwapatie mic.
These are the enemies of progress are trying to destroy you. So it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, like all of a sudden, I can't speak to the people who have called up, and I see everybody has dropped. Ebu request the microphone. I'm seeing 155 people who I didn't. Cheni kune first year numbers buana. It's like
No,
bot.
it's a big number. We have like over 167 people on the call. So yeah, so I don't know. Mbona usione watu. I can see Redemptor, my friend Diamond, Chocho, whatever that is.
I can see African. I've sent the mic to Diamond. Thanks so much, Diamond, for your tip. Nimeona tip ya Diamond. We are currently standing at 600.
Diamond for real. Hata kama ulimake kama joke. We are matching, and it's and don't say it's me. My team is matching whatever they subscribe to, so we cannot do only 600. Let's do like at least 10,000, then the other team can match the so tumeni kitu hapo. And I know Pipita is a truth man for real. So see wachana ya Gashawa, truth man for real. So atatuambia this is what we got, and then it's how we'll match. So Tuma, thanks guys
for zingine mimi uko tempted kukuambia. Sasa mimi tempted niseme acha niseme double, lakini ubaya kukua mtoto wa grandma. Grandma's kids always tell the truth.
Yeah, don't do that, because then that's not what we are fighting for. We are fighting for the truth,
accountability, and truthfulness. Mimi hata kuna siku ingine uliniambia eti I'm going to do a double. By the time it was getting to around 8:30, we were at 0-0 on the tip line. Nikakutext nikakwambia tuko 0-0. Oh man, yeah, but I like it that way. So that when I get that double, it actually meshes.
Yeah, that integrity will push you much higher than when you wanna. And I think I have done that with my other friend, of course, Andrew Kibe and all that. When you're honest with this, you grow, and we move this forward in a way that itatusaidia to change the country that we are interested in. And again, PP, with all seriousness, Demta, Eli, I can see Diamond here, we have to stick to the truth, and that's how we are going to grow and make a difference. So I appreciate that you being honest in the way that we're going to do this.
Kuna boy wangu wa nguvu hapa hivi anaitwa Francis Maina, lazima aniekeange kajiti kangu mpaka kaingie kwenye show bwana. Acha nimpe makofi, super fan bwana. Acha niwaambie, it does not matter how much you put, it is that willingness to come through. Unajua kuna mtu mwenye anaweza kuwekea 100 shillings and it is their last money, and it means that they value that much. So thank you so much for that. Na kuna wale wenye wanaona kazi yetu na bado wana support by listening in every day. Kina Muhija hapa, Muhija shika islap. Tangu Muhija kuja kwa isho yetu ajai hama. Asanteni sana. And of course, acha tuone wengine wenye niweza ona niseme nimeona for a while. Kuna wengine wamejificha pale hivi ndani. Thank you so much for supporting. Ila Likuyani, I don't think sasa ila inaweza kusema sasa we si relative wetu sasa. Unajua, we are related. Then our guy Diamond. Diamond, how are you doing? Diamond anisikia?
Niaje fiti.
Kama kuna mtu alikuwa anataka uongea akanihack
No, nilikuwa nimesikia ukisema kuna mtu alisema tu double, sijui alikuwa ameweka pesa ngapi. Nikajaribu ku double. But ni sawa. Sasa unajua nilikuwa naambia ila jana sija recover history ya Marara bwana. Kwa jamaa alituruka baada ya mwezi mmoja. Sasa tunatafuta mtu mwingine, sijui pipi kama utasimama uanze Vampire Diaries.
Hapana, kila mtu afanye mambo yake bwana. Mimi niko kwa radio.
Uko kwa hiyo.
Tusisumbuane, hii kazi ya ndio tena nifike huko tena mwanzo kuniambia pipi, mbona unaenda unataka pesa ya mafuta sana.
Peleka kwa company sign in kwanza boss. Okay. Mimi nilikuwa nakusalimia tu, sina story nyingi bana. Leo hiyo kitu Gava, hii kitu ya gava kusaini hiyo story ya Adani bana, sijarikava. Achana na mimi kabisa. Acha nisikize tu. Nilikuwa nakusalimia tu.
Yani ilikuwa inaitwa super signing. Hata mimi unajua nimeipata kwa nikianza kwa news, nikiwa nimeanza show sikuwa nimeiangalia. So the first speaker mwenye ameshika mic na ameniambia umeona breaking news ya 9 minutes ago. Ati nini imehappen? Eti Adani bana. Adani is now bon appetit. Ate? Yeah. Adani sasa anakula bwana. Asante sana Diamond for that and also for your tip. I appreciate it. Unasemaje Diamond?
No, niko
Jimmy.
sawa, proceed, mimi nasikiza tu.
Oh,
Niko sawa.
all right. Jimmy, last yana amekataa kuja kwa mic.
Jabo. Unaendeleaje kaka?
Mimi niko salama bana, kupambana na gurudumu la maisha ya Ruto.
Inabidi tupambane na hii maisha ya Ruto kabisa. Nimeona hiyo Adani takeover. Unanisikiza?
Yeah, 90 billion.
Yeah,
wataweka for 30 years.
By the way, do you know kama hii KETRACO watu wengi hawajuagi, and this is something maybe watu wengi hawajuagi. Nani anajua CEO wa KETRACO? Unamjua? Pipi?
No, simjui Jimmy.
Sijui kama ametolewa ama alitolewa. Unajua Mama Abi, huyu mtoto wa Ruto, huyu alikuwa mtoto wa Ruto. Kale kanaitwa Abi something. Unajua?
Huyo ndo Mama Abi ndo CEO wa KETRACO.
Watu hawajuagi. Ndiye alikuwa hapo. I think sijui kama
wacha wewe.
Hebu sasa uone sahi. Ndiye alikuwa huko. Alikuwa mkubwa huko. Yaani ni mkubwa huko. Unless ametolewa. Me I know. There's one of my cousins who works there.
Hapana, ni John Mativo mzee bwana.
Hebu tafuta HR. Ni nani?
HR huko.
Hebu tafuta kama sijakosea sana. Hebu tafuta HR.
Wacha tuone. Kuna mtu ametuongezea sasa tumefika 1300. Thank you so much. So tunapanda. Anaitwa Hillary. Thank you so much kwa kutuongezea 500. Tumefika 1300. Naangalia niangalie HR ni nani? HR manager. Ya jina ayeko hata kwa site.
Huyo ndiye anakuanga huko kama hamjui. Ndio anasemanga hata hawa wengine hawananga si. Hawa wengine wote hawananga si. Kama mkijua hivyo. So hiyo dini yote ukisikia wanaweka ndani hapo. Ule hata huko kama ni HR. Do you know there was a lady who works there? If you remember, unajua mimi najuaga siri nyingi za watu wa serikali sana. There was the former energy minister who was there. Alikuwa anaitwa this guy. Alikuwa anaitwa Isakarejin guy. Jina lake inapotea. Do you know that guy had a side chick there who was paid 300,000 per month doing nothing just on the laptop? Kulika hapo tu. Me I know so many secretary ya KETRACO sana. Hata wakuja hapa na najua huyo demu anaweza mtaja hapa, lakini sitaki kutaja majina ya watu. So hizo zote ni za wakora. So ukiona ikiingiana hapo KETRACO imeingia kwa hiyo, jua pale pesa inaenda. Hiyo ni 3 billion. Labda 3 billion si za nini? Si za hapo. 3 billion zinaenda pahali. Billion private.
Inaenda kwa mtu direct labda.
Nasikianga kama kuna CEO amewekwa kwa sababu I think alitolewa hapo akawekwa ili juu ya hii sijulikane kwa sababu watu wengi wangejua hapa kuna game inachezwa. So huyu aliteremshwa madaraka kidogo. Lakini hata kama ako hapo chini hakuna kitu CEO anaweza sema. Huyu ndiye husema kila kitu huko. Ndiye husema. Na ukiangalia go to the system and look maybe KETRACO wako na watu wangapi from one tribe. Ingia tu kwa system kama unaweza pata hiyo system yote. You get about 95% ni one tribe, 5% ni other tribes. Mtu ana find out tu atakwambia KETRACO most of the people wako pale juu And what happens? I can't even say whatever happens during swearing in. Lakini sitaisema hapa, it's more sensitive. But anyway, I knew this thing would be taken over because hakuna kitu watu wangefanya, because niliona ni kama watu unajua serikali I think iligoja watu wa protest siku ya kwanza na ya pili, and that was all. Hawakuwa na nini nyingine ya kufanya. Na hii ya Molala, by the way, this guy, I understand him. I think nimesikia watu wakisema Molala anafanya nini, hasikii watu unajua the moment, and that's why people umenifurahisha. Nimesikia ukisema huwezi taka hiyo kitu. The moment people give you money, they want to you're gonna be like a puppet. They want you to do these things, and I agree actually. I agree na Molala, and I also disagree with him because youth wanataka ufanye hivi, there's a certain group wanataka ufanye hivi, and there's another certain group wanataka ufanye hivi. Sasa utafanya gani? Wanataka ufanye hivi, wanataka ufanye hivi, wanataka ufanye hivi, wanataka ufanye hivi. Atafollow group gani? Because ukikosa hawa wanakutusi, ukifanyia hawa watakutusi. Atafanya nini? I think the moment alikubali pesa, hapo ndio mambo ilienda vibaya.
Good evening. Sorry.
Poleni kwa hayo.
Yeah.
Guy, that was an amateur.
Yeah.
Endelea.
So hiyo kukaa akipewa pesa, kuomba pesa kwa watu, these people will give you money and then they want to drive you vile wanataka, si vile wewe unataka, cause wanakupea pesa. So I think he can do it on his own way, so that I remember the likes of who kuna this guy alikuanga anafanyanga hizo vitu tu hivyo, alafu yeye hakuwa anaomba watu pesa. The likes of, I think Jalango was to be like that. Alikuwa anaona anafanya vitu, he never kutaka watu wafanye nini, wampe pesa, because the moment watu wamekupa pesa they will throw you under the bus. Even now people ngoja nikwambie sahi, waambie watu yako inakuanga tu yako ni tip ya kufanya nini, lakini if you want to do something like that, people will give you money and then they will come for you. We give you money to do this thing and then you are not doing that, and there's a certain group watagree na wewe na kuna wale wanakata, so huwezi fanya vitu zote once. So nimesikia akisema Molala hafanyi hivi, so hawezi fanya kila kitu watu watataka. Hata tukijaribu aje, he can't be that good. Hawezi kuwa hivyo ati tuseme ati amefanya vile nataka, cause kuna ile opinion yako Pipi, kuna ya Nooks, kuna ya Diamond, kuna vile anaweza taka huyu afanye na kuna vile mimi naweza taka afanye. Hawezi fanya zote at once. So at the end of the day, Adam nilikuwa nikiambia mtu mwingine, if you are a footballer, you don't listen to the audience wala wanakushangilia kule, you listen to the coach and the other players. So sometimes I also, because at the end of the day, he want to be a politician. Hapa hakuna mtu anataka kitu kingine. You remember the likes of Adani walikuwa wanatashangisha watu pesa, the likes of Babu Owino vile walikuwa wanafanya tu hivi. Hata huyu Recommend vile unaona he's doing a good job, but at the end of the day akiingia parliament, he become a member of parliament, and ukiingia kwa nini utakuwa wao tu. So that's how they end up being. So just like the way you remember Ruto used to tell people, nitainua mama boga, hii serikali ni yenyu, na mpaka mnaenda na watu wa pikipiki. So if you understand the Kenyan politics, watu wote unaona wakifanya nini, they're just for their own interest, nobody's interest. Hapa kwa mtu anafanya nini ati anataka uingie hapo asaidie wananchi. Hakuna mtu anaingia hapo kusaidia wananchi, anaingia tu hapo ajisaidie na familia yake na watu wao, wengine hawezi. So kila mtu ukiona akifanya timu nzuri sana, nothing, hata huyu anaweza tuokoa, ama huyu atakiwa nini. Na nilikuwa naona watu wakisema Molala ame president ya Kanani, ngoja ingie hapo. Unajua serikali kuna watu wale husema, there are people who control the government, hata si president. There are some people kwa serikali wanakuanga very tough guys, and that's why unaona vitu zingine hata president, unasikia president labda hajui course zinafanywa na watu wa huku chini. Kuna watu wale wanakuanga, unasikia like just the way kama if you listen to the world news, unasikia like in the world kuna watu wale who control the world, like I think there are 7 to 10 people, they control the world. Whatever happens in the world, they know what is going on, and they are the one who can say this and this and this and this. That's how it is. Even in Kenya iko the same thing. People will do this, lakini kuna watu wale hata president anajuanga hii ikienda hivi ni hivi, kuna kuanga hivi, and that's what unaona hata mtu akiingia parliament anataka to be an MP. Watu wanaingia wanakwambia wewe kuna kuanga hivi. You can't be good because wanajua. And that's what happened to Gachagua. I talked to one of the guy, he was a former MP. Somewhere, sitataja ni wapi. He's a very close friend of mine. People did not understand why Gachagua was removed. Very people ni corruption ni nini. These guys, they are preparing for 2032. They knew Gachagua akipita hapa. And that could be the worst. Gachagua akipita hapa, Gachagua could be the next president of Kenya. Na hata pita hapa, no matter how people try. Hata hiyo Senate haiwezi msafe. Because they know, if hawangegoja 2027, wakimtolea hapo, Gachagua ameingia. Because atakuja akiwa vice president and he will still do the what Ruto did. So that's why wanaona wanataka kumtolea hapa before 2027 atakuwa ameisha kabisa. So wanataka kuweka mtu anaweza kuwa kwa kiti by Ruto akitoka ndiye anaashia hapo. Mtu ataashia hapo. So watu wengi wanafikiria Gachagua ni kuiba pesa, ni kufanya nini wapi? There was an agreement that was there. Hawa watu waliagree Gachagua anakaa miaka 2. Tumutoe tuweke mtu mwingine because they did that because of the way the election was and walikuwa naona madakala walikuwa hapo, so they wanted to make sure that in cause ile place iko na watu wengi wangehold hapo Central kama ni Madera wanajua hapo, na huwa alikuwa na watu wengi sana, wafuasi wengi sana. That's what they had to do that, but walikuwa najua hakai hapo for long. So these people, they know how they play their game. So watu wakisema ati ni pesa ameiba, kwa nini watu wale wengi wameiba pesa? Kwa nini hawachikwi wao? Ni Gachagua tu anaendea, nothing like that. Hata hiyo anasema 600 billion, those wanajua sasa. Akishikwa, kwa nini hawajashika hawa watoto? Kama walifanya nini? Ama hizo bank, hakuna bank nimesikia imejitokeza ikisema yeah, we give him loan because of this and this and this. Ama kuna imetokea pipi? Sijasikia. Some of those are hata zingine hata za uongo, but they're gonna come and tell you everything you want what people want to hear. They are trying to make sure that watu ni lazima wa make sure watu wamesikia, wa make sure watu.
But ukulizaje bro? Sako yenye inaweza kupatia 600 million shillings ni sako inafaa ijulikane sana, ama kuna sako zinajulikane zinazotoa hiyo pesa mingi?
These people, they just one call. Hao watu kupiga simu kwa bank, one call unapiga, hebu mpe huyo 600 million. Bank hakuna kitu inaweza fanya, hiyo pesa inarudi. So hizo vitu nyingi hata vingine ni kuwekana tu, wanakuja wanamwambia tu hivi na hivi na hivi. But although I know Gachagua is my neighbor's constituency, so I know him, I know all, even the 200 million whatever happened, hiyo yote najuanga, ile alirudishiwa vile kulikuwa kumeenda. So these people wanakuwa ni wakola tu, kila hakuna mtu ati useme Hudi ameiba zaidi, wote ni wezi. But at the end of the day, walikuwa najua 2032 Gachagua hawezi kuwa president, so they have to remove him now. If it's not now, na walikuwa najua ikikosa hapa, oh my goodness, Gachagua angeingia president. Na hawa watu wakina nani hawataki hivyo. Most of the MPs hawataki kuwa yeye atakuwa president because they don't want him, his leadership haikuagi nzuri hivyo sana. So walijua, na angepita hapa, unajua Gachagua ni mjaja sana, alikuwa ameanza kufanya kampeni yake polepole tu vile Ruto alifanya, alikuwa ameanza hiyo system. So these guys, they wakajaruka mapema, wakajua, you hit the head. If you want to kill a snake, you hit the head. So waligoga kichwa, wakajua hapo malizie kabisa. So ule mtu ataweka hapo, you can take this to the bank. It's the one who will be the president 2032 likely. There's a high chance, I don't want to say hivyo, lakini maybe chance of 80% kama kutakuwa na changes mingi sana. That's what nasikia wakisema the likes of Kidiki and that akitaka kufanya nini hapo, wanajua vile wanafanya. You will see. Ukisikiza hiyo story vizuri, wanajua vile wanafanya. So hata hizo nini zote watakwanga tu wana they give people what they want to hear.
Wacha nipatie watu update kwa hii challenge ya ndugu yangu Justice for All. We are currently at 1800. Watu wangu tunafata kufikisha.
It's about what people I think nimeingia when it's a bit too late. I didn't understand. It was about what? Justice.
So Justice for All amesema kwa kila tip leo na get ana double. Naona. So last time kuna mtu alituwekea 5000 na yake double ikakuwa 10k. So yeah, for every amount. So kama sasa hivi tuko na 1800, ataniwekea 1800 at the end of the show.
Okay.
It's his group that are supporting us.
Okay, so I think yangu nitatuma to be on the way. before
Haya, thank you so much Redemptor. We are now at 2100. Eti?
Yangu nitakutumia, yangu inakuja tu. In a few minutes.
Sawa. Justice, did I see your hand up ama ni vitu zangu? Cause unajua mimi masaa yangu ni kama inaelekea. Unless kuna mtu ako na kitu ya kuongezea. Justice, do you have something? Justice for all, are you there? Ama alienda, jamani. Umaienda kukula mahali, alafu mtu mwenye alikuwa alipe bila akatoka nje. So namuita ndo ujue kama ukule uitishe juice ama unyongwe. Boniface, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine, Mr. Pipita. Thank you for giving me this high chance to speak to you. Nimesikiliza hii story ya Jimmy. Government has a lot of things that we have to appreciate. Though, according to this impeachment of Gachagua, they were supposed to go all. But naona ni kama huyu jamaa amesidi mwenzake unga kabisa, ataenda nyumbani. For some few money yenye amepewa. So as this group, this is how to share someone to know what is going around to the ground, and unless kuna mtu labda ako na ile kitu mgeni atuambie, but yote yenye tunaona si mzuri about this Gachagua and the president. So I think next election time, we should come out and discuss very good and well the leaders that we have to elect. Si kama hii watu ya kiburi hawa. Naona mwingine anagwama mlima, mlima ni yetu. Usiguze mlima, mwingine huku kwa Rift Valley anasukuma wa impeach mwenzake. Naona sasa vitu kama hiyo. Na naona in the next like on Monday next week tutakuwa na deputy president mwingine ambapo nitakana Rigiji mwenyewe aona atafanya nini kwa mbini yake. That's all Mr. Pepita, sikuwa na mengi. Nimekuwa nikisikiliza tu mada mpaka penye mmefikia. We shall be together. Anything else Mr. Pepita?
Hiyo iko sawa. Asante sana Boni.
Yeah.
Justice for all, are you there? Sijui kama Justice for all ako hapo. You can unmute your mic, Justice for all, if you can hear me. Thanks so much, Boniface Waswa, for speaking to us. Justice, uko hapo? Allah, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who are wondering why we are doing double, Home Run PP is supported 100% by the listeners. In this way, I'm saying that sichukui pesa ya mwanasiasa. Actually, when someone calls me and talks to me about politics, I'm out of that room. So to help me stay independent in terms of not having to depend on people to pay my bills, mambo kama stima, mambo ya internet, all that, I have put up my number there for support. So Justice for All and his team have said, leo kwa kila amount inawekwa hapa up to 10k waitai double. Sasa tuko 2,100. So if I get 10,000 shillings, they're going to give me 10,000 shillings. So kasa 7 kuna 2,100, watanipatia 2,100. So before we get to 10 p.m., whatever we raise before that and end the space, we are going to be doubled hapo hadi 10k. So it's going to help me maybe niongeze tena kiti ingine. If you guys have not seen, the studio has been amazing and it's all from the tip jar. Siwezi wadanganya by the way. Kutoka, yani kila kitu mnaona hapa hivi ni nyinyi mmejenga. Ma fans. Hadi kiti nimekalia. You know, 2 weeks ago I was seated on a very green hard chair. I used to leave this chair with back sores. Then one of my listeners hapa akasema, Pipi, nimeona kenye unapitia, hebu niambie hiyo kiti ni pesa ngapi hapo hivi tununue. So yeah, it's all you. And the only reason I keep it like that is because I want to maintain independence for as long as possible. Because if you go corporate, most of the times corporates will say don't let people speak, sijui wa regulate masaa, na unasikia hapa tunaacha watu wanaongea hadi 30 minutes zinaisha. Let me big up a guy like Swoosh. Big up to you, Africa, na kuona pale ndani. African, you are trying to get to the mic. Hebu kuja kwa mic uniambie shida ilikuwa wapi, African Johnny. And of course, Adani has been announced officially as the ones managing our transmission lines. Before someone else, nani alikuwa ameongea hapa? Alikuwa anaongelea grid. Huyo ndo aliongea mpaka roho yangu ikagongea kwa kifua. I was in shock. Yeah? Ananiambia eti sasa tumewapatia airport, tumewapatia health, tumewapatia grid. So if they shut us down one time. Tukikosa kuwafanyia kitu ama unajua most of the agreements, mini agreements hapo zinasema there is no change by parliamentary action. There is no change by parliamentary action. There is no change by court. And if the activities of these actions